Call to order December 5th, 2024 Road Commission meeting to order. I'll ask Mayor Jennings if you'll do the prayer and we'll do the pledge. Please rise.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for yet another day of life to come together with our friends and fellow servants of this community and this county. We pray a blessing on everyone that's here. Pray a blessing on their families, Lord. We know there are many out there that are cold and hungry. We pray that you'll be with them during the holidays. It can be tough times for a lot of people. We just pray that you'll lift them up, support them, as you will do if they'll just call upon you. Lord, we ask now that you go with us and forgive us our sins. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, have a set of minutes in front of you. I entertain a motion to approve those when you're ready.
Motion to approve. Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
At this time we'll have public comment period. And I have one on my list today, Ms. Monica Field. And if you will step forward and state your name and address for the record.
Only one? Okay. Yes. Just in case I need a photo. Yep. This is my first time here. Small little room. I'm Monica Field, and I live at 4514 East Division Street in Mount Juliet, but it's in the county. Lived there 20 years. I think you all know how notorious East Division is. I've been there 20 years. When it was first moved there, and it was considered boonies until where it is now, it is inappropriately overburdened as a street. It's very dangerous. I've seen many, many people die on it. And I have talked to commission supervisors after accidents at times to find out, you know, what could be done about it. And I've generally received people shouldn't drive stupid. People are on their phones. It's their fault that they get killed and hurt on this road. And I am here to dispute that and say that maybe with some minor focused improvements in some minor areas, rather than looking at it as like, oh my God, it's 3 miles long, it's going to cost us millions and millions of dollars to fix this road. It's not going to happen. We got Costco in there. We have more and more business going in there, and there's nonstop construction, which means we have a concrete company on this end and a concrete company on that end. For some reason, the jobs they get are in the opposite direction of wherever they need to go. So they're constantly crisscrossing each other. You may be familiar with a mom and her daughter who died recently. And since that time, there's been 2 or 3 small cars, big cars, and semis falling off that road again and again and again. They knock over the pole, and TE comes over, puts the pole back up again, we move on. So I would like to suggest that there is a bad spot. Like, can we focus on it? My neighbor has had so many people run off the road because it slightly curves and someone's not paying attention, and they go off the side, and of course there's like this much space on the side next to the yellow line, this much asphalt, if not none, for them to fall down, go through, flip in my neighbor's yard, upside down or not, depending on how fast they're going. Yes, they're not the best drivers, but too many injuries. And they have actually built riprap on the side of their, you ought to go see it. They're just so fed up. They redid their driveway. They've got cones. They got riprap and everything. So if you're driving down there and you saw that, you're like, I don't want to run over that at all. Okay. So just my experience and observation. Now, I retired in January of 24. After 20 years at Cummins Incorporated as a corporate IT director, so I never had time to really come here and have this kind of conversation with you guys, but all that energy that I used to apply to my corporate job, I can apply to this, and I can help. I can provide whatever support, communication, observation, anything that the county would need or would wish to have a citizen involved in. I can show you what the idea is. I'm not a road expert by any stretch. I did IT. But at the end of the day, I feel it's unacceptable to just say that people drive poorly and they should get hurt as a result of it. And this one section of the road, right here where that cement truck hit the lady, although she technically hit him. I think about it every day I drive towards my house. Someone who's in the big truck, who, his double tires are already on the yellow lines, and you have this much space to get around him, because he's trying to not fall off the side. So the people that are on the edge, all it takes is 2 inches and they're going down and they're gonna overcorrect into me. So that's the fear, is that. And I'm suggesting that if you guys can zoom in on it, you can see how torn up the road looks. If you could at least do maybe the riprap idea, or extend some asphalt. I've asked about a guardrail, and I was told, can't do guardrails here. And so there's guardrails on other sections of East Division, but apparently with the soil quality or whatever right here, this is not gonna be effective for guardrails. But if you could have a swale or some kind of, at least give people like 4 or 5 inches on the other side of the white line. And even if you have to come out and patch it and patch it and patch it, can at least be a cost-effective, small improvement that can be done. And the next time someone falls off of it, where it scrapes their axle, literally scrapes the asphalt off, could they possibly put some more asphalt in there and patch it up again? Because there's been patch jobs done on other sections of the road successfully, and I've just never seen anybody try to do anything in that section. So I don't know if you want to see the picture, but it's where the pole is on this side of the road.
Sure. Yeah, I know where that is.
And it's all torn up.
know
I even met a
exactly.
guy who runs an insurance company. He said he has a friend whose son died on the East Division, and then another son died on East Division. Can you imagine? 2 of your children dying on the road that you live on.
Yeah. And that accident that you speak of with the concrete truck, I was in front of him.
Okay. And we just can't keep going, sorry, I don't have any money. You know, it's just not acceptable after a while. It's just not, to do nothing. At least if you do something, people will go, at least they're trying. You know, they're trying to make the road a little safer. That's my plea. I don't know what the protocol is, if there's anything else I'm supposed to say or do. Write something down.
No, ma'am, I can address some of this
Okay.
for you. So we applied, they applied for that road from a Build Back Better grant last year. With those results come back, since a lot of that, if you come out of Mountain Juliet till you get to the Luther Lennon Bridge is in the Mountain Juliet area,
Right.
come out of 109, a little ways is in the Lebanon area. So they told us, hey, look, if you will get those other 2 cities to come with you on this grant, you got a better shot at getting it. So we got turned down for that. So we brought the 2 cities together, and they joined in and they reapplied for that grant, or reapplied in the spring, I think, is right on that.
Have submitted or not yet submitted?
Well, the new plan will be in the spring. We had already submitted, got turned down, but then the new plan will be coming up the next grant.
Oh, where you said you have to ask again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that piece is happening.
Uh-huh.
Amazon gave Mountain Juliet about $9 million, and so that widening going out to the Golden Bear is already underway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've read
The
about that.
places that you are talking about, there are 3 different places there that are bad places that they drop off, and so the road commission has looked at that for quite some time. What could we do? Could we put guardrails there? And so we reached out to Collier, a company that surveyed all the county roads and ranked them for us so that we could have a plan to try to improve those roads, and said, can you do anything here? We also reached out to Jones Brothers.
I know, and they're on the road themselves. They're
Yeah.
falling off the road themselves.
Yeah. And so
Many times.
because Jones Brothers has spoils that they could drop off in there. And so Collier looked at that road and said, okay, if Jones Brothers is going to give us some rock to drop off in there to create those
That's that riprap that I'm talking about.
Shoulders.
Kind of shoulders, thank you for that. For shoulders, that would be something that we could do. Or we even build a base to put guardrails in. So when Collier went out and looked and surveyed, they said you don't have enough right-of-way. So we would have to go back and buy right-of-way because we can't dump, because as you dump that gravel off and it
On someone
spreads
else's
out, so
property.
it's gotta go out. So that's an issue right now that we're trying to work through to see if we can find some type of base to put there to put guardrails up. until, again, still working on the grant, okay?
But I
We
think
reach-
the, whoever owns that property probably wouldn't object.
Well, again, you gotta get that permission, and that's kind of that's what we've done so far, that's what we're working at right now. And then the next thing we do, we sent a letter to every one of those concrete companies and said, hey, when you go out, would you mind going towards 109 or going towards Golden Bear or going towards Mount Juliet and not come down those areas? So we sent them all a letter, nobody said anything back to us and said they were not gonna do that, but we're trying to do that. But it's a public road, we can't make them not do that. And I get a call every time somebody wrecks or runs off, you know, and so I'll reach out and I'll call Weimland and say, hey, what's going on? Hey, well, a deer was in the road today, you know, or so-and-so was on their phone and ran off the road and hit the light post. I get those from a friend of mine that lives there, and he calls me every time, no matter what time of day. So I know every wreck that happens there. And so it is a goal of ours to do that. You can see the work that we put in on that. We don't want it either, but that we haven't found a quick fix yet for those 3 bad spots. If we could fix those 3 bad spots, that makes the road a little safer until the grant can come through, hopefully.
Right, that's
to
what I'm
widen
asking
that
for,
road.
some
Yeah.
kind of minor improvement to.
But you're gonna have the improvement out to the Luther Lennon Bridge already. That is underway right now.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's,
that one part by Mont Juliet before you get to
Yeah.
Amazon where it's even worse than where.
In
Yeah.
places,
Just
it is,
drops
off.
it is terrible.
so the guardrail that you see there today, was there back when they had a large shoulder to put that on. And then when we had the flood in 2010, it washed the gravel away from the backside of that, but it's still standing. Because I asked the same question, well, how can we
Not
put
sure
it
how
there
strong it
and
is,
not
though.
put it here? Probably not that strong, but I mean, that's where that's at. So we have had lots of attention on that road. We haven't said, hey, we can't do anything. We are working, and I hope you can tell that from that. So, because we don't want people to lose their life there either. I mean, that's on us. And I pass that, that's the way I go to Mount Juliet when I go, and so I pass that spot in the road where that lady and daughter lost their life, and yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah, so are you talking springtime?
You know, we're talking right now, trying to find a way to get some right of way to be able to do that. So the timeline is not an issue. When we can get the engineering part worked out, then that's when we'll get it done. So it's not we're waiting till the spring or waiting till the fall. Spring on the grant applying,
I don't know,
yes.
like, is it delays in being able to reach the property owners and go through the
No,
paperwork?
the engineer, they're just working through that process right now, finding how much, because you have to design that. You can't just say, let's just go dump a
Sure.
bunch of rock and,
Yeah.
hey, we'll get on your property. The other issue with that too that they're looking at is that is a water basin through there. And so
Yeah.
when they put something there that gets washed away, then that becomes
Mhm.
null and void. Either done all the work for nothing. But Jones Brothers is willing to help us, and Collier is working to do the design part on those 3 rough spots that you see there.
Mhm. So what are the other 2? The one that I showed you, of course, is the one I brought.
If you'll come by the office sometime, I'll show you, because
Okay.
we have a map of my office where we've identified all 3 bad spots that are there that we're trying to make sure that we get some guardrail or something up there or some
Okay.
shoulder. But if you'll call my office and set up an appointment, I can show you everything
Yeah,
that we've
which,
done.
in fact, I'm not sure which zone I'm in technically. Whose
I'm
zone
the
is
county,
that?
I'm the
That
county
would, I
mayor,
think that
so,
would be my
I think it's
area.
Okay,
but you can come see me, and
Okay.
because we've done most of the
the
work.
offices are all here.
No, we're in the courthouse where you buy
Oh,
your
okay.
tags and pay your taxes and stuff. That's
Okay.
where my office is at.
Okay,
I can give you my phone number and you,
yeah.
I
that'd be
finna
great.
say,
I love
and
to
text
also,
you.
you might,
Yeah.
actually, since you're retired now and not doing IT, you might be able to talk to the neighbors. 'Cause
That's what I'm
probably,
saying, I mean, I'm,
that's probably one of the reasons why Jones Brothers got sped up or whatever, because they own both sides. So they probably give their right of way to take care of the problem, so.
yeah. Okay,
there's my phone number.
thank you,
Thank you for coming today.
thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else wishing to speak before the road commission today? Seeing none, we'll close public comment period, and we'll go to the assistant superintendent report, Ms. Sharon Lackey.
First thing, Steve's not here today, he's in court, so for an old case, from 2018 that didn't really involve us, but he's in court today, is why he's not here. The first item that I have is to declare these items surplus, and last month I put the wrong serial number and model number on a saw, and I'm just correcting that as well as surplus and the other item.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Okay.
The next thing I have is we'll be closed December the 23rd through January the 2nd. And we would like to see if we can move the meeting, the January meeting to the 9th.
So your motion to do so,
Motion to move it to January 9th, the meeting.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And then the last thing I have is asking you to approve our new road list added to.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Mayor, didn't this go to the county commission though in January? I
Yes.
think for all 16.
Yeah.
No problem with all approving today. But
Okay.
it won't be in this month's package.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's all the items I have unless there's any questions.
Motion to approve report.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Superintendent report.
Steve's not here and there's no report.
Gotcha.
Unless you have any questions for him that I can take back.
Okay. Since we don't have a report, I don't need an approval. And I'll go to the county attorney.
I don't have anything unless, I know I owe Chad something, I'm sorry I didn't get to it, but I'll talk to you in a few days.
Okay.
We'll get it.
All right.
And, I don't know if you have any questions about the building.
You know, I think I want to ask this board for permission. I think the property on Oak Street that's there, part of that property we tracked off and sold to Lynott Moore, and it's deeded correctly. The other portion of that is deeded to the road commission, and we'll have to change that deed on a quitclaim deed if this board will allow to Wilson County government, because that's where WEMA's building is. If anybody sees any issue with doing, no sense in it being in the road commission's name if it's county government now.
Is that little piece that,
No, it's the whole,
The whole building?
it's where the whole place is at, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The old equipment yard down there, is that what we're talking?
It's the equipment yard, because, you know, we gave some of the road commission area before we sold it to Lynott to the WEMA station.
Yep.
So it's the whole WEMA station on the Oak Street side. They have the church on the other side already deeded correctly. It's just that one. So if we could do that, that would be,
So you just want it deeded to Wilson County?
and I have the paperwork I can send to you
Yeah, all right, we'll fix it.
if the board is.
So I just got a question. So like deeding it to Wilson County, what does that do to, like, is WEMA putting money in all that for all those years, or?
No, everything is really county government as you
Right.
see it, but just like today, when we talk about the road commission, selling the old road commission building,
Right.
they keep that in their fund, okay? And the rest of the funds are kept in general fund, and so this building has been WEMA's building for a long time, it just needs to be deeded correctly.
So I guess what I'm saying, like if WEMA said, we're gonna get us a new place and we're gonna sell that building,
You would still be county government,
so it would just go back to the general fund.
that's where you're trying to, that's where you're
Because I
trying
know
to
some
put
of
it
these
in the right
departments
place.
like wanna keep the money, like, I paid for it, I wanna keep the money in my.
That's only
I
can be
think-
done with the road commission and the
Is that-
landfill because of enterprise
Enterprise
funds,
fund.
but everything else is yours. And
Motion
yours
to
is
deed
theirs.
it to the Wilson County?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So that would just get that lined up. I didn't know it wasn't done like that back when we sold it to Lynott Moore, so I just thought when we had that, it was on the mind. Nothing else from you.
I don't have anything.
So we'll go to old business. And I'm assuming that's, if you want to bring up what you talked about last month.
You guys all know me. As chair of animal control, we're requesting to purchase the road commission building. We had meetings earlier this week. Well, I've met with the mayor multiple times. Wendell's been involved too, but as you know, he's under the weather today, which is why he's not here as well. But we met earlier this week with Sharon and Steve, and they felt that $1.5 million was an acceptable price because that building needs a new roof and just some other minor tweaks and things. So I'm requesting that I would hope that this board would allow Wilson County government to purchase the building for animal control.
The roof, there's an issue there. Robert's also looking at the age of the HVAC units, as well as some tile issues that's there, and he'll get me a price on that. But evidently, Commissioner Marlowe and Commissioner Breeze had a meeting with Ms. Lackey and Mr. Murphy, and their discussion with that deduction was at 1.5. If that's what the board would approve to go forth, it would leave here if you choose to do that. Go back to animal control tonight.
Yes.
And then would not go to budget until January, and then to the county commission in January.
Right.
money would come from the capital projects.
Right, and the plan is that Steve Gatlin actually went to a workshop last May for building new animal control facilities. So he went to a full-day workshop with experts, and he wants to hire one of those consultants to then turn around and kind of do some planning and figure out, based on the size of the county, how many kennels we need, and so on. And then we will bring that back along with the price of the building. So we'll have a full project price, fingers crossed, for January. Budget approved the consultant on Tuesday night, so that was pending animal control meeting today at 4:30. So that'll have to come through county commission first to hire the consultant, so December 16th. And then the next budget meeting is January 16th. So we're hoping that we can get the consultant work done in that window, but it may be tight, so
I will
that's
add
kind of
this-
where we are logistically.
I will add this to it, the conversation about dogs and stuff there. Had a meeting with Mr. Major and Steve Gatlin. Didn't really understand what the dog issue was, but I do now. And that is at the back of the property is where the covered arena is, and that's where we have a lot of horse shows there. It's also where they have cattle stalls where they wash the wash rack. And so his concern was, got a student back there washing a cow, whatever, and here comes a dog, you know, jumping at him or whatever, or barking, spook the cow and it hurt the child, or somebody on a horse, which make perfect sense. So Steve Gatlin and him and I talked, and they'll build a wooden fence that will start at the edge of the parking lot, you remember, on the side, and they'll build that wooden fence down and then along the back, and then it'll go so far over here, and then they're gonna redo the fence between the road commission and Conrad's because it's not very good. And then there's a line of trees, if you remember, along the back. They're also gonna plant some trees on the left-hand side coming out as well. And then Steve is also going to, once he puts his kennel on the back, if y'all approve it, he's gonna put another fence around the kennel enclosing that. So the dogs are never out there on their own, they're always being walked, but if one were to break loose, it's gotta get through that fence before it ever get through the trees and into the back. So that's safety on both. So they both come out of there and they were very much in agreement that that plan would work for Mr. Major. So,
Right.
yes,
I got a question.
yeah.
Is he gonna have to build another building for the dogs, or?
Yes, and that's what. the
So I guess
consultant's-
what I'm just concerned about is like the 1.5 million
Mhm.
you're gonna pay. So we don't know how much all this other stuff is gonna cost, right?
Well,
You won't have that until they're paying $10,000 for a consultant to look to design that, and then they'll bring that to you in January at the at the county commission
And
level.
what Chad just said, I'd just piggyback off of it. Are we borrowing the money for this? Or can we borrow it, Aaron, out of the enterprise fund from the county commission?
If you're paying this straight out of capital projects.
I mean, is it, I want them to get it, I'm not saying that, but like, I'm just thinking for my own sake, if I'm paying 1.5 and then, like, we wanna sell it to them, but like, watching the tax dollars, should we say, before we sell it, let's get a total price of what this project's gonna cost? Does that make sense?
Or you won't make that approval until January.
But we're
at the county
approving them to go ahead
commission.
and buy it.
What your decision is today is, are you okay giving it to them for 1.5? That's what your hat is today.
Yeah, it
If you
takes the
wanna
full
sell it to
county commission.
1.5,
Yeah.
Right.
But so it'll come full county commission for the whole
No,
total.
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
It'd be in the next budget.
Yes, sir.
Motion to
Yeah.
approve.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I think this is a really great thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I haven't heard anybody wanting to get out of the animal control business. You know, it might not be glorious work, but nobody's wanting to say the county needs to just let the cities do it, so we ought to do it right, you know. If we're gonna do it, we gotta do it right. This-
Well, I mean, just
be a-
keep in mind though, you're probably looking at close to $3 million.
Well, again, if we're gonna do it,
I mean, I'm not against it, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that,
I bet their adoptions go up astronomically just by being close
Right.
to town.
well, this way they'll be accessible, because, I mean, part of the logistical issues is being that they're on the dump property, which, you know, Cindy and, you know, the landfill they've been great neighbors and great hosts, honestly, but they're only able to access the building between, you know, 8 and 3,
Right.
5 days a week, so you can't do weekend adoptions. And so that's been, that's made things difficult over the years. So this would open the door to that. Steve has already started a volunteer program.
Okay,
so-
that was okay. So if you're
Mhm.
gonna start adopting all the dogs and taking them in on the weekends, and I'm
Right.
not against dogs or cats or whatever, but
I hear
you
ya.
start taking all of these people in, and now we're gonna need more employees, and now they're gonna need this, and now they're gonna need that.
So I can answer that too.
Okay.
So Steve came in last year, and remember we approved this last budget year 2.5 additional people for animal control. All right, he has visually set this building up so that it can be taken care of, and from a security standpoint, by one person. At least that's the idea, that you'll have one person in front. So he's not expecting to actually have to hire anybody else. He's going to use the additional 2.5 head count that he already got to be able to man this building, because we've been going in this direction for a long time, attempting to try to expand our facility so that way you could actually have weekend hours and so on with the public. So he started a fantastic volunteer program 3 or 4 months ago, and he's got a great set of volunteers who come in and walk the dogs every day. So he's already got the volunteers for additional staffing. Plus, if he has weekend hours, then you can do things like students could come in and actually do their volunteer hours. They're required by Tennessee Promise and Tennessee Scholars. Right now, that's not an option, because kids are in school from 8 to 3, Monday through Friday. So the new facility would allow Wilson County to bring animal control to a whole nother level. And I know $3 million is a lot, and again, I don't even know if that's going to be the number yet, but we'll have me, we'll get you a good number. But point is, Lebanon right now is building their own facility, and Steve Gatlin spoke to Mike Justice and asked him, how much is Lebanon paying? And Mike Justice told him $7 million. So
$7 million for,
Lebanon's new animal control facility, and they're building right now. So from an economic standpoint, this is, a much more effective uses of our tax dollars.
okay,
So,
but if you're gonna build another building out back, okay, so that building's pretty big down there. What are you gonna do with all that space on the inside? Is that if you're just gonna have one or
Oh,
2.5 other employees, or?
So they have 3 animal control officers plus Steve plus an office manager. And then they have kennel techs as well. So it's not just 2.5, it was 2.5 additional personnel. I think they have 8 or 9 right now in total. So the front would be, where you come in, and then, that would be their offices, right? And then the area where the road commission used to meet would become a multi-purpose room that they could use for dog training, for people to meet a dog, etc. And then they want to put a sally port kind of in between the current building and what'll be the new building. So that way you can bring your truck in and unload a dog in a contained area. And then the building in the back is just going to be a kennel building. So at that point, well, you asked for details.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Well,
I just know when I say $3 million, it might
So-
not touch it. That's
Well,
the thing.
We'll be able to bring you a total number.
Right.
That's the point. So that's why this isn't coming straight to county commission in December for us to just buy the building and then come back with, okay, now we have the building, now we need X number of dollars to be able to convert it to make it animal control. That's what we want to give you a total,
Right.
Bring a total number to commission. But it's just, what we're adding though is just a kennel building. So it's pretty bare bones. I mean, you don't really have to, it doesn't have to be, it could be concrete floors. I think that, right.
Heated and cooled.
Yes, heated and
stuff.
cooled and
Yeah.
things, right, yes, and then, of course,
Drained.
it'll be drained and things so you can clean, but you're not talking about having to finish out a nice building. So that should bring the cost down some. And then Steve has visited a lot of other animal control facilities in the area, such as Williamson, who built one recently. And they have play yards, but the play yards are actually sponsored by individuals and companies. So he's looking at trying to do those kinds of things too, to actually get some additional funding from, and he's got some leads on some possibilities. So we just, as the county, need to help him get to the next level in a new facility, and then he can then turn around and go from there. So this, effectively today, is step 1.
Got a motion and a second on the floor for 1.5 to sell to animal control. Any other discussion?
So it's just gonna, we're saying, we're committed to them, and then they're gonna bring it back a total before we vote on the whole thing, right?
No, we're just giving them the opportunity to buy it. They
Right.
still gotta go through budget.
It's kinda like a contract, we're just saying,
You just said you're giving them 1.5 price if they can get the 1.5 out of the county.
yeah, and then they'll come back with a total price, yeah.
Exactly. This is just step one.
It won't come back here.
No,
No.
no, back here.
Yeah.
No more dogs.
Yeah.
And then it would be, Mike, it'd just be a transfer between the governments, and then Aaron, you would just move the money from general.
Capital
projects to roads.
Yeah, quick claim deed and a budget amendment.
Gotcha. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The record reflected unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Any new business to come before the body?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.